Hi guys, hi. It's the last hour of Learn Extra Live, and you are tuned in for Maths Let's with Looney and John.
Hi guys, hi Looney, great to be with you this evening. We're doing something interesting tonight. We always do interesting stuff on maths literacy, isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. We're talking about surface area. So we are not going to be measuring the diameter of Peter's waist and working out the surface area of his shirt. No, we will leave that for another time. Okay.
All
So,
right.
but we'll be looking at surface area.
Okay, cool. Mindsetters, I hope you guys are excited for the show. We are doing surface area for all you maths litters out there, so make sure you're tuned in. Remember to hit us up on Facebook, on facebook.com/learnextra. On Twitter, our handle is @learnextra. And then if you want to win yourself this cool Casio calculator, all you need to do is complete the test yourself questions, fill in your entry form with all your details correctly, and if you get all the answers right and you're a bright spark, you'll win this awesome calculator. Okay, and remember, entries close tomorrow at 12 in the afternoon. And just a reminder, guys, please share our Twitter page as well. We need some followers because our Facebook is just beating Twitter. Facebook is beyond like 78,000 likes. So on Twitter, we need to catch up with that because we're like at 6,000 followers or something. So please, guys, share our Twitter handle @LearnExtra. Get all your friends to follow us on Twitter as well. And remember, everything we post on Facebook is on Twitter as well. So you get the notes on Facebook and on Twitter. You get the competition details on Facebook and on Twitter. So please, please, please share our Twitter handle as well. John?
Thanks so much, Looney. Guys, we'll have a look and see how close we are to that 80,000. I think that's coming up quite soon.
Yes, very
Hey,
soon.
do you think we can do it tonight? Maybe, I don't know. Well, let's check and see.
You can try.
You can see what your likes are, and let's see if we can push it a little bit. Maybe by next week we can get to 80,000. So today, in today's lesson, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at surface area. So, what is surface area? We're going to have a look at what is surface area, what are the calculations that you need to know to do with calculating surface area, and link this to the cost of things. Now, guys, surface area is often linked to area. What's the difference between area and surface area? Well, let me illustrate it for you. Here I've got some foil. Now, if I unwrap it like this, and I hope it doesn't glare too much, and it's nice and flat, okay, then we'd be talking about the area of that piece of the silver foil, the foil. Because we can measure a length, or a length and a breadth, and we can calculate because it's flat. When we start putting it on an object, like wrapping it around even this roll here, this cardboard roll in the middle, we could then say to ourselves, hey, what's the surface area of this roll? Now what we want is the length and the diameter and the circumference, which is also like a length, the circumference of the end tube there. This will give us the surface area of the cylinder without the top and the bottom. So ideas about surface area usually deal with three-dimensional objects. But let's have a look at some formula, and before we get there though, let's have a look at a challenge question that also starts to show you surface area is really practical. It's about doing tiling and painting and all that sort of good stuff. So here we go. Here we've got a problem, and maybe you've got a fashion designer and somebody wants to redo a bathroom, and the bathroom wall has a certain height of 3 meters, and it's 5 meters long. And if the tiles are squares, very important, with side lengths of 20. So let me give you the clue there. 20 on all the sides, because we are doing a square. So it's 20 by 20. And what we want to do is recognize that the tiles are sold in boxes of 12. Ready? And each of these boxes cost 169 Rand. And what we've got to do is to work out, the original question is, how much will it cost? Yeah, we want to know the cost. So we've got to do some calculations, step by step, work it out logically. Questions on Facebook? We'll pin to the top, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Put your answers down as a comment. How much will it cost? and we'll see if you're right. See how many people get it right at the end. If you want to give us a few lines of your working, we'll also share those towards the end of the lesson. Okay, so let's move on. Quick revision. Remember that when we're dealing with shapes and measuring them, we need to remember some formula. So the circumference of a circle is 2 times pi times the radius, or the pi times the diameter. The area of a rectangle, very straightforward, it's length times breadth. The area of a triangle is half base times the perpendicular height. Remember, that's the perpendicular height, that's the slopey height. We don't want to measure the slopey height, we want to measure the perpendicular height always. So the base would be that region, and the perpendicular height, we wanted to get the half in there. The reason is triangles are half the area of a square in many cases, and we can get that, or half the area of a rectangle, we can get that formula out from there. Then the area of a circle, not circumference. Now please remember, don't get confused between the area, which is on the inside, the whole thing, and the outside, which is the circumference. So the area of a circumference is pi times the radius squared. And guys, please don't forget to square. You might write it down. Make sure you squared. And if you're uncertain of using the buttons on the calculator, just multiply it again. So it's the radius multiplied by pi. Okay. Now, I think that gives us enough of a sort of summary to deal with the things that are flat. Now we're starting to deal with cubes and rectangular prisms. So what are we going to do then? Well, we're going to have to make sure that we take in all the surfaces. And one of the ways to do that is to make sure you break your shape up into its different sides and draw a bit of a net. A net is a flat representation of a 3-dimensional shape. So let me give you an example, and I'm just going to quickly pull one up, and you're going to have to excuse me because I'm going to have to draw this for freehand, so it might not look quite right. Say, let's take this example as for the moment. It's a triangular prism, so it's a box, and it's got another side going down there that we look like that. Now, if we were asked to find the surface area of this thing, we have to paint all of these areas, all of these sides, the top and the bottom, and this side and the other side behind there. You're going to have to paint them all. So how are we going to imagine what that looks like? Well, one of the ways to do it is to break it apart and to lay it out flat. So when we do that, we recognize that we've got a triangle at the top and a triangle at the bottom, and on this side we've got another side and we've got another side. And you would then, if you were looking at surface area, you're going to take this bit and this bit, add those two together. You're going to take the base bit, this bit, and how are we going to work out the base? Well, it's just a rectangle, so it will be this length multiplied by that length. Then we're going to take this length. They don't all have to be the same. This side would be the same as that side. We're going to take that one, and then we'll take this one and work that out. Can you see how you break a shape up and measure its surface area? Well, I think that's more or less covered what we want to do to give you the principles of calculating surface area. I think we should jump in and try and do at least one question. So let's at least look at the first question. So here we go. Question number 1. We have got a water tank. Now, for some reason, it's jumping, but hopefully it doesn't jump too much. There's my water tank. It's illustrated above, and we're told it has a height of 2,75 meters. It has a diameter of 1,8 meters. So guys, let's think this through. We know it has a height, vertical height, and we've been given the vertical height. I like to put the vertical height onto the diagram and I'm going to be, so I don't get it confused, height goes up 2.75 meters, and I want the diameter. Now, as soon as I see diameter, I don't really like to work with diameter. I like to work with radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the board, and I'm going to, on the diagram, and you can do this in your, when you're doing your exam, write it down on the diagram or the sketch that you've been given. What is the radius? We don't know at the moment. We know that it's half of the diameter, which means that it's half times the diameter, which was 1.8 meters. So let me go and make sure that I've got a calculator to work that out. And I'm going to say I want half times 1.8. Now what do you think 1.8? 1.8 is close to 2. So half of 1.8 should be close to 1. You agree? So estimate it. We think it should be close to 1. Let's see what it is. And we get a 9 out of 10, which is close to 1, which is 0.9. So we recognize this is 0.9. So now I'm ready. Check that it's meters. Check it's meters. Got it all right. So we're in the right range here. Due to the fact, question 1, that the water tank is looking shabby, Joe decides to paint the tank a lovely blue color. So the question is, what surface area needs to be painted? Remember that there is no need to paint the bottom of the tank, as lies on the floor. However, the top and the sides need painting. So let's have a look at the picture again. And what you'll recognize is this is a water tank, and somehow it's collecting water. There might be a pipe going into it, but there's a top to it. It's sealed, and it needs to be painted a blue color. The reason that the top is there, so the dust and other stuff doesn't get inside, keeps the water clean. And we've got to paint all the surfaces. So really what we want to do is we want to paint the one circle top bit, and we want to paint the round bit. So just like this, we want to paint a top bit, and we want to paint a round bit. So let's think about that. If we draw a picture of this thing and lay it out, what we will have is the top bit, which is the circle, and then a square bit, which is like that. Now, guys, the question is, how long is the top bit? How long is that bit that goes around, the curved bit? It's curved over there, but how long is it over here? Well, the good news is that distance that I'm showing you is exactly the same as the circumference of the circle. And the circumference of the circle, remember, is 2 pi r. Okay, and we know the height. We know that height. We know the radius of that. We've worked that out already. So I think we're ready to go. We can work out the diameter. The way I'm going to do it is I'm going to break it apart into 2 bits. And I'm going to say, what is the area, first of all, of the top, of the lid, if you like, and that circular bit. So we recognize that the area of that is pi times r squared. And pi is 3,14 times the radius, which is 0,9, and we want to square that. Let's get the calculator up to do that. So there we've got the 0,9. We're going to square it. So we're going to say that's squared times pi, which is 3,14. And there we go. We've got the area of this bit as being 2,54 meters squared. 2,54 meters squared. That was just the top bit. So what about the sides, the curved side now? Right? Remember what I said to you? When I drew the little net to break it apart, to cut it apart, we recognize the net, the length of that top bit is the same as the circumference. So we're going to say it's length times breadth. So the area of the curved bit, the area of the rectangle of the curved surface is going to be its length times the height, And the length in this case was just the circumference, which is 2 pi r times the height. Now, 2 pi, 2 times 3,14, times r, which was 0,9, times the height. Let's go back to the question to get what the height is. We were given the height of 2,75. 2,75. Now, there we go. Clear that for a minute, and let's get it in. We're going to go 2 times 3,14. Now look at that. I didn't put the 1 in. 3,14. We'll just make sure it's in now. 2 times 3,14 times 0,9 times 2,75. Check that I've written it down right. Remember, in this formula, we're just working for the circumference. There's no squaring in it. So we're all okay. And we put the answer down, and we see that it's 15,54. 15,54 meters squared. Now, guys, we can't just leave it like that. We've got the top bit and the side bit. What have we got to do? We've got to add them together. So that's not difficult. Let's just take the calculator and say, let's add plus 2,54, which is the top bit, and we get an answer of 18,08. And if I was rounding off to make it practical, just the amount of paint, so the total surface area that I'm going to need is 18 meters squared. Now, it's approximate, it's quite close. You'll notice that you could have rounded off and said 18,1 or 18,08, but 18 meters squared is good enough. Okay, so we've done the calculation for that first bit. There are some more questions on this particular thing, and I think perhaps during the break, see if you can work this one out. How many liters of paint are you required if 1 liter can cover 4,5 meters squared? Okay, how many liters of paint how many tins of paint are you going to need? Let's have a discussion on that after the break then. Over to you, Lenny.
All right, Mindsetters, let's take a very quick break, and I'll see you straight after this. Welcome back, Mindsetters, from that break. A big congratulations goes out to Clement Rachwale for winning this awesome Casio calculator. Congratulations to you. Mindsetters, if you also want to win, all you need to do is complete the test yourself section from your notes, and then you fill in the details on the entry form. All the answers must be correct, and you might just win this awesome calculator. John?
Thank you so much, Lenny. And guys, a calculator is an amazing thing to have. Essential for mathematical literacy. Make sure you know how to use your calculator. Okay, so if you've got a calculator, I hope you've been doing this problem during the break, or doing the challenge question, or at least using something to make sure that you're getting up to tune and exercising with maths literacy. Remember, mathematical literacy is about doing some daily exercise. You know, if you want to get really fit, you've got to do some running, or you've got to do some push-ups or some sit-ups every day. If you miss a few days, you're going to be lost. The same thing is the challenge for you for maths literacy. Every day, try and do a few little problems. Make sure that you're using your mind and staying active, remembering the formula, even though they give them to you, so you know that you don't get confused between what's surface area, what's volume. You know the difference between those. You've done these before. So let's see how we can tackle this one. So we know that it's about 18 meters squared, 18,08 meters, or 0.9 meters squared. And what we're going to do, we're going to work with 18. It says how many liters of paint are required if 1 liter can cover 4,5. Well, that's easy. We know that 1 liter of paint covers 4,5 meters squared. Now what we've got to do is say, how many times does 4,5 go into the 18 meters? So it's not that difficult to work that out. We're going to take our 18 meters squared. We're going to say 18 divided by 4, 5. Now, every time it goes once, will be 1 liter. If it goes twice, it will be 2 liters. If it goes 3 times, it will be 3 liters. If it goes 4 times, it will be 4 liters. Let's think about it. How many are we expecting it to be? Well, think 4, 5 is close to 5. And 18 is close to 20. So 5 into 20 goes 4 times. I think it's about close to 4 times. And I think it might be the right answer as well. There you go. Now let's think, how did we get that? We've checked it, we estimated it, and the calculator tells us 4. Does it make sense? Let's count it up. 4, 5 plus 4, 5. What does that give us? 9. So 2 times 4, 5 is 9. And 9 into 18 goes twice. So it all works out. It looks right. 4, 5, 9, and then 13 and a half. And then 13 and a half plus 4, 5 will give us 18. So what we're recognizing is that we would require 4 liters to complete this painting. 4 liters. Just 4 liters. So now the local paint store sells this specific color in 5 liter cans. Each costs 439 Rand. What will it cost to paint the entire water tank? Well, guys, it's not difficult. We've recognized we only need 4 liters. Okay? We had a little bit left over, the 0.9 there. But do you think that's going to make that much difference? Well, let's check it. In our rounding, let's check it, that we can make absolutely sure. We had 0.8 something divided by 4, 5, I think it was. 4, 5. And I don't think it's going to get to another liter. It's not going to take up another liter. But let's just be absolutely sure on ourselves so that you can see. And you can see that it comes to that 4.01. You can see the rounding effect is not that big. Now we've got 4 liters we need. They can't sell a 4 liter the paint of this color. Sure, you might be able to get 2 liters, or in some cases you might need to buy 4 1 liters. You might have to evaluate what's the best deal from the paint store. Or you can buy a 5 liter, which is going to cost this amount, 439 Rand. And so I think that all we're going to do is to spend the cost of 439 Rand. Why? 1 tin of paint. We just need 1 tin of paint. Tin of 1 5 liter tin. 1 5 liter tin of paint, which is going to cost us exactly 439 Rand. Okay. Now, there is another question that's part of this whole question on the paint and the water tank. But it's slightly different because it's not dealing with surface area. And I want you to be very clear about it. We've put this question in because we want to make a difference between what goes on the outside and what goes on the inside. We're not going to put paint on the inside of a water tank. We're going to put paint on the surface of the water tank. But we're going to put water on the inside. We're counting how much water will this tank hold. We're now not talking about surface here, we're talking about volume. And volume is always measured in meters cubed or centimeters cubed. It's 3 things multiplied together. It's not just a length times breadth, but it's a length times breadth times height. So let's look at the next question and let's see if we can do it, because it's quite interesting. It says 1 liter of water takes up the space of 1,000 centimeters cubed. Yeah, 1 centimeters cubed is the same as a milliliter. And 1,000 millimeters makes up a liter. Okay? Now we've got the surface area. Remember, we've got the surface area of the whole thing. And we've also got the area of the top bit. And we've got that. So now what it says is determine how many liters can fit into the tank if it is 95% full. Now, let's just go over the idea of volume. So guys, what we need whenever we're doing volume, even if it's a cylinder, like something like that, we're going to take the base area, which we've already calculated, it's that area, multiply it by height. So let's go to our calculation back up there, and remember, we calculated it, and we said the area of the top, which is the same as the area of the bottom, is 2,45 meters squared. It's 2,45 meters squared. So this area is equal to 2, what was it? 54 meters squared. 2,54 meters squared. And we were told that the height, be very careful now, the height back at the top of the question was 75 meters in length. Okay? 2,75 meters in length, not 75 meters, 2,75. Just check it. 2,75 meters. Now, what are we going to do to work out volume? Very easy. We're going to take the area of the top and we're going to multiply it by height. And you're saying to me, "Bah, but this is so easy." And it is. It's straightforward. But let's not get too carried away with ourselves, because there is a little trick to this that I am seeing, and I want you to be aware of it. And you must be thinking about it. I'm doing it one way, and we're going to check it just now. So I'm going to take the area of the top, and I'm going to multiply it by the height, which was 2,75. And guys, when you do that, we get this answer. We get the answer of 6,985. 6,985. But this is meters times meters times meters, so it's meters cubed. Sure, that's a very, very big amount of stuff, because it's meters cubed. Now, what you weren't told in the beginning of the question, you might need to remember, is the following conversion. And there, as I said to you, there are two ways of doing this. What you need to remember is that 1 meter cubed is equal to 1 kiloliter. Okay? So if we want to convert this, because they've asked us how many liters were there, not how many kiloliters, then we're going to have to take this amount and say, that's the volume. Now, we want to work out how many liters, what's the capacity, how much could it hold? It could hold this amount in not just liters, but those are kiloliters. We want to change it to liters. So we're going to take the 6,985, and we're going to say that that was kiloliters, and we want it to be equivalent to the liters. So we're going to multiply it by 1,000. So I'm going to take my calculator, and that's what we've got on the board there. We're going to multiply this by 1,000, and we get the answer of 6,985. 6,985 liters. But guys, that was the total. That's if it was full. It's not full. Remember what it said. The question said, and it's a tricky little thing, it's only 95% full. And what does 95% mean? It means 95 over 100. So then the amount of water is equal to 95 over 100 multiplied by 6,985 liters. And let's just do that. We can get an answer multiplied by 95 divided by 100 equals, and there we go, 663575. 6635, 8.75 liters. And that's it. Please understand that's what goes in. Now we're going to be doing more volume calculations next week. Please make sure that you understand it's not the same as surface area. But often in questions, they combine the two so that you can distinguish between the difference and you can be assured that you've got them. Okay, let's move on to the next question. And this is a very nice question, but it's going to take a while. So I would rather move on to the last, to question number 3, because I think this one is a little bit shorter. So let's have a look at it. It was also a question we were due to do last week, and I'd really like to get this one done and finished, and we can see if we can do the other one next time or in another time. So what does it tell us? It says a chicken farmer intends to build a chicken pen using fencing, 3 ends of the pen, and he intends to build a brick wall on the one side in order to protect the chickens from strong winds. Sketch is not drawn to scale. So we're told there's the brick wall, there's the wire fencing goes a pole there, and there's the wire fencing. There are poles over here, and over here. 5 meters by 10.65 meters, and that's the area. First thing, we're asked to determine the length of the wire required. Now, guys, this is a bit like working out perimeter. And that's why it was in last week's question, but it's an area calculation comes in later. You need to be able to work it out, though. So what are we going to do? We want the length of the chicken wire. It's not difficult. We're going to take that length, plus that length, plus that length. So if we're working it out, we're going to say it's 5 meters. The length, set it out nicely, is equal to side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3, which is equal to 5 meters plus 10.65 plus 5 meters. Don't really need to put the meters in if I don't have to. You can if you want, not a problem with that. Let's do it on the calculator so we don't make a mistake. And we're going to say it's 5 plus 5 plus 10.65. And what's the total length we get? 20.65 equals 20.65 meters. There we go. Sorted. Determine the cost of the fencing. The farmer buys 6 meter rolls for 89 Rand 94. The hardware the hardware store where the farmer buys his goods from does not sell wiring in any shorter lengths or longer rolls. So here we've got a problem. And it's a real problem. People don't always give you exactly what you want. So you've got to work out what you need to get from this farmer. And he only sells, the hardware guy sells 6 meter lengths. So 6 meters, every 6 meters costs 89.94. So we want to work out what we need. We can't go along and say, oi, I want to have a length of roll of 20.65. No, you can't. You can only buy 6 meters. So it goes up in 6. 6, 12, 18, 24. Now 18 isn't going to be long enough. I hope you can see that. 24, there's going to be some left over. So he's going to have to go up in 6. He needs to get that total distance, which was 20.65. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 20.65, what's the closest multiple of 6? Well, clearly 20.65 meters fits between 18 and 24. So which one is he going to take? Well, clearly he must take 24 meters. And how many rolls of that of the wire is it? Well, 24 is 4 rolls because 6 divided by 24 is 4. Remember, we get 6, 12, 18, 24. That's it. We can count it up. 6, 12, 18, 24. We've got it on our fingers. We know that that is 4 rolls of wire. So we need 4 rolls of wire. Can check it on the calculator, or I'll leave you to check it on the calculator. Now, each of these rolls costs 89 Rand 94. So that's what I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out 89 Rand 94. I'm not going to try and do that in my head, but let's just try and do an estimation for a moment. If we estimate, we say, what's the closest big number to this? Well, we can round it off to 90, because that's quite close. It was 89 Rand 94. It's only 6 cents short of 90. So 90 times 4. For now, 4 nines. What are 4 nines? 4 nines are 36. 36. So I reckon that this is going to be about 360 Rand. Let's see how close we get to it. 360 seems to make sense. We could have rounded off to 100. 100 times 4 is 400. And then it was 10 Rand more, so you take away 4 times 10, take away 40, that's also 360. So there are other ways of estimating, but this one is a particularly good one. Let's see if it works out. We need to be about 360 Rand. Are we going to get the jackpot? Are we going to get there? Let's check it out. So that doesn't help us. 359 Rand and 76 cents. Is the calculator telling us the right answer? Well, yeah, I guess it's pretty close. I could go and do another bit of a calculation, but I think that that's quite comfortable in terms of if I'm expecting to pay 360 Rand and I only have to pay in 359 Rand 76 cents, yeah, I'm quite happy. I'll get a few Rand change. So it's 359 Rand and 76 cents. That's what it's going to cost me. Luni, over to you.
Okay. Mindset is we are going to take a break. Please don't forget to send us your questions on Facebook and Twitter, and then John will answer them after the break, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you straight after this. Welcome back, Mindsetters, from that break. I hope you guys are nice and refreshed and you're still enjoying the Masculine Show. I'm not going to waste your time and talk and go on and on and on about stuff. John?
Thanks, Looney. But you know what? I think I can go on and talk a bit about stuff. Have you seen the new website, Looney?
Yes, I actually saw it.
Isn't it so cool?
It's very cool.
Now, this is on the Learn Extra page.
That's me.
And that's you there doing some geography with Kamla. So guys, get onto the webpage. It's both a site that you can look at on a computer or a tablet, and it even works really nicely on a mobile platform. So if you've got a smartphone or even a feature phone and you've got internet access, go and have a look at it. It adjusts to fit your phone. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
So if you get onto Learn Extra, there's the drop-down menu to get to the live or to the lessons which are on the weekend, or the revision, which is coming up. Remember, winter school's coming up soon, and we'll be talking more about that next week. But here is some great stuff about Learn Extra and then Learn Extra Live.
Can you maybe show them how to get the notes?
Yeah.
Yes.
If you go right down on Learn Extra Live, there you get the calendar. Now, we're in May at the moment, and it does it by months, okay? So we're in May at the moment, and May is active, and it will open, and we're right down at the bottom because tonight is the 29th of May, and there are the notes. The notes are in the bold blue colors, and it says Get Notes. So what do you think you may need to do to get notes?
You click.
You click on them. That's right. Make sure that you don't just look at that Get Notes. It's not going to do anything for you. You must click. And then the yellow, under the gray locked out watch video, there's no video there, so don't click on it, but look here. If you look at a couple of weeks ago, there you go, watch video. If you push on that red and white box, then you can watch the video. It'll take you to the YouTube channel, and all the maths literacy are in one playlist. So go and have a look at that and do some revisions. We've been having questions about June exams. How can I revise? Go and look at the previous notes. Go and look at the things we've done earlier in the year. Revise, revise, revise. Practice, practice, practice. Talking about practice, I think it's time to get back to that little problem that we were dealing with. And in fact, I'm going to go straight on to the challenge question. And we'll do this and see if we can have got time to come back to the other one. So, challenge question. Bathroom tile. You know what, Looney? I don't really enjoy these handyman things around the house. Tiling, painting, not my cup of tea. But we can do the calculation. Okay. So, how are we going to start? Notice that we're dealing with a bathroom wall. It is 3 meters high. Okay. So, it's 3 meters high. And it's 5 meters long. Okay. So, in my head, it looks something like that. I always like to draw a little diagram. So 3 meters by 5 meters. Now what shape is that, Looney?
A rectangle.
Rectangle.
Yes.
And we have to calculate the area of this rectangle. Why do we want to calculate the area of the rectangle? Well, we know that the tiles have a certain length. If we work out the area of the rectangle, we work out the area of the tiles. We can divide the area of the wall by the area of the tiles. We can see how many tiles can fit in. Approximately how many tiles can fit in. Okay? We can work it out at least. So I'd like to know what the area of this rectangle is. So we need to get the formula for the area of a rectangle. So I need to remind you, right in the beginning of the show, we said area of a rectangle.
While you're on that, you're answering Lebohang's question, because that's actually a question.
Lebohang, this is for you, is the length times the breadth. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the length, which was 5 meters, by the breadth or the height, and we're going to say we've got 3 times 5, which is 15 meters squared. Now, that's the total. Let's work out, without thinking too much, about how many tiles will go into that. So we know that the tile is a square, and it's 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. Now guys, here I'm going to need some help, because I want to keep my units the same. I've got meters squared, so I'm going to change centimeters into meters squared, into meters first, then multiply them. So if I take centimeters, remember centimeters, you know your ruler, there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So I've got centimeters to meters, I divide by 100. So I'm going to say this is 0,2, that's 0,2. And I now am going to do that on the calculator. I'm going to say 0,2 multiplied by 0,2 equals, this is the area of one tile. So the area of one tile now, let's get that calculator back up, is 0,04. 0,04 meters squared. So we've got the area of one tile, we've got the area of the whole wall. How many tiles can I fit into that? Well, that's exactly what I've got. The area of the tile divided by the area of the wall. See what the answer is. And remember that 0,04, we're going to take 15 and divide it by 0,04 and see how many tiles that brings us. And it tells us that there are exactly 375 tiles. So the number of tiles is going to be 15 divided by 0,04, which gives me 375 tiles. Check that that's right. Just make sure, 375 tiles. Excellent. 375 tiles. We'll come to the tricky part of the problem in a minute. Let's go back to the information that we were given. We were told that they're sold in boxes of 12. Okay, so I now need to recognize how many times does 375, how does 12 go into 375? So I'm going to divide the 375 by 12. Let's do an approximation first. We know that 360 or 36 is 4 times 12, so that would be 40 boxes. It's a bit more than that. What's the next, if we're counting up in 12s, will take us to 480, which is too many tiles, but let's just see if we can get it right. So I think that that would be not 40 tiles, but 12 into, that would be actually be 40 tiles, so 40 boxes. Let's see if we can do it. Divide it by 12. See how many times it goes. It will be about 36, between 36 and 36 and 40. There we go. It's a little bit less. I'm a bit surprised, I must tell you, that 12 goes into this 31.25 times. Is that right? Well, how can I check? Well, there are two things that I can do. I can say to myself, let's take 32 tiles. 32 tiles, because I was way off. 32 times 12, and that gives me 384. So, yeah, it looks right. Let's just check it that I can't use 31 tiles. 31 times 12, you see I'm using my calculator to check was my answer reasonable. And I needed, remember what it was? I needed 375 tiles. If I only had 31 boxes, I'd only have 372 tiles. So it's not enough. I need 32 boxes. So it's very important that you recognize, at the minimum, I'm going to need 32 boxes. Okay? And then you've also got to think a practical thing about sometimes when tiles are used and you get the tile from the shop, there could be breakages. So normally you add in 10%. We're not going to do that. We're just going to take this 32 boxes. Now, look what the last part of the question was. Each of these boxes cost 169 Rand. So I'm going to take 32 tiles, and I'm going to, or boxes of tiles, and I'm going to say, yeah, I need 32 boxes. 32 times 169 Rand. And what does that give me? 169 Rand. Look at this price to tile a bathroom. 5,408 Rand. Really? Did anybody get that answer?
I can check for you.
Yeah, just have a look. Let's see what the mindsetters are saying about the challenge question and whether they got that answer. Because while you're looking there, I just want to have another look at this question. Because that's only one way of doing it. Okay? There's another way of doing this whole problem.
What's your answer?
My answer, total cost, 5,408 Rand.
One mindsetter got it right. Yasin Osman.
Well done, Yasin. I hope you're chuffed with yourself. You got the challenge question right. Well done, and keep on trying. Okay, but now, guys, let's just think about this for a few minutes. Because tiling isn't just straightforward about we can slap things anywhere. What we've got to check is, does it fit in perfectly? And what you need to remember is you don't only have to do it by area. That's the way that we've chosen to do it. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to say to myself, how many tiles can fit in the length of 3 meters? So I'm going to take 3 meters and I'm going to multiply it by 100 to give me 300. And I'm going to say 300 divided by the length of 1 square, and I'm going to see how many will fit in. So this tells me I will have exactly 15 tiles going up. 15 tiles. So 15 tiles will go that way. Now, what about the 5 meters? Well, 5 meters is 500. Now, let's see. I think the question is quite nice, because if we take 500 and we can take that divided by 20, and we can say, oh, that's 25. 25 tiles. Because it fits exactly. 25 fits, 25 tiles, that length of 1 tile, 20 by 20 by 20, will fit into 5 meters exactly. So what's the total number of tiles that we need? Let's see if we get the same answer. We're checking our answer. 25 times 15 equals 375. That's exactly the same answer as we got previously. So I hope you can see that when you're doing this sort of stuff with maths literacy, there's obviously more than one way to do it. And you don't have to go through the whole process of calculating area. This is the easier way to do it, and you can get there a lot quicker. Obviously, the last part of it, to take 375 and divide it by 12 to give you your number of boxes, and then to get your price, that's going to be the same. Okay, Luni, I see that we're running out of time.
Yes.
Are there any other questions on the page?
Yes.
Okay, let's take them.
Set is asking, why do you times by 4 rolls of wire instead of 6?
Okay, let's go back to that roll of wire question. And remember that the length of wire, okay, I think I'm on the right page. Let's go there. He said it's 6 meter rolls, okay? And what we were doing is we were saying we want 6 meters. That's what the length comes to, okay? But we want to get to 20. Now, you don't multiply by 6 because you're saying 20 is what you just over 20. So 6 plus 6 will give you 12, plus 6 will give you 18. How many rolls have you used to get to 18? 3. But you're short. You wanted 20, not 18. So you've got to have a 4th roll. So that's why we're saying 4 times 6 is 24. That's the minimum amount of wire you can buy. And so that's why we said 4 rolls of wire multiplied by the price gives you the final answer. Luni, it's been great being with you.
Thank you, John.
And we'll see you again soon.
All right. Mindsetters, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to check out our website for all the exam papers you need, all the notes, all the videos, everything is on our website, and it's quite easier now, as John showed you. But from us, until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Goodbye from us.